The Chris Rock movie that's coming out on the 9th has everybody talking about her, so I ain't gonna be scared, and I'm gonna make a video about it too. I did make a video a few days ago about her, and I said some things in that video that I'm gonna build upon in this video. So perhaps you may want to go watch that video before you watch this video. Like I said before, there's already probably hundreds of videos about this documentary, and it hasn't even come out yet. And different people will pick up on certain things that they've seen in the previews. For example, some people hear that it's a $9 billion industry and they want to talk about how $9 billion is going out of the black community. Some people talked about how they believe it's evidence of self-hate. Some people looked at it and said, well, women of other races do things to their hair too, and I don't see it as any different. Well, here's what I picked up on. The very first scene of the movie, and I'm assuming it is because that's the only place it would make sense. I'm talking about the part where Chris Rock tells us exactly why he made this movie. Chris Rock has 2 daughters, and he's in their lives. Hell, he lives in the house with them. And he says that he tells them very often that they're beautiful. But despite all that, he says his daughter Lola, which is probably about 5 or 6 years old, came home one day and asked him why she doesn't have good hair. Again, a father who loves his daughters, who is in their lives. And let's not forget, he's a celebrity. He can send them to the best schools, pick and choose who he wants his children to play with. All of that, and Chris Rock still could not insulate his daughters from this hair thing. Now, perhaps the Rock girls watch a lot of television, but I doubt that, because I found that a lot of stars, they're in the business and they know how nasty it gets and all the crap that's out there. So a lot of times they don't want their kids to be in the business and they don't let them watch a lot of TV. But maybe they do. We don't know. One thing that frustrates me about this whole hair discussion is that most people just keep jumping right to, oh, you're trying to conform to a white standard of beauty. Guys, that totally misses the point. And here's what I mean. Let's say we're watching a hair commercial and there's a little Asian girl on there and she just got her hair done, so she takes her hand and she flips her hair back, and boy, is that a cool move. Somewhere in the world, a little white girl's watching that same commercial and she says, oh, that's cool that she did that, and she tilts her head and takes her hair and flips it back just like the little Asian girl. Somewhere else in the world, a little Latina girl, one that's not black and one that's not white, sees that same commercial and she takes her hair and flips it back just like she saw the little Asian girl do. And yet still somewhere else in the world, a little black girl sees that commercial, she goes to flip her hair, and what the hell? Why can I not do that with my hair? I don't know why everybody keeps focusing in on white, as if white people are the only ones with non-kinky hair. Every other race has hair that's similar enough that they can achieve common hairstyles except for black people. It's not about white. You could take a little black child and put them in a room with a bunch of Asian kids, and if those Asian kids are flipping their hair and doing all this stuff with their hair, the little black girl is probably going to feel left out, and it has absolutely nothing to do with those other kids being white. They are Asian. Asians don't have kinky hair. Indians don't have kinky hair. Latinos, the ones who don't have African ancestry, don't have kinky hair. I don't understand how people don't get that. Focusing on white misses the point big time. We blacks here in this country, we don't live by ourselves. We live in a multicultural society with other races. Certain fads come and go, and some of those fads include hairstyles. Some black women see these styles and they want their hair like that too, but it's just not possible with the type of hair that they naturally have. So they alter it. Oh, but why do you want to conform to a white standard of beauty? You need to love yourself. Oh, no. Don't explain that to me. Explain that to your 5-year-old daughter who, ever since she was born, you told her she was beautiful, yet she still comes home from school talking about, why can't my hair do what the other kid's hair does? And you know what the weird thing is? Anybody who has kids or ever worked with kids knows that you can tell a kid just about anything, true or not, and they'll believe it. Tooth fairy, Easter bunny, Santa Claus. If you just run water over your toothbrush instead of actually brushing your teeth, I can run a test on it and tell. You can tell a kid all sorts of crazy crap, but you tell them that they're beautiful and they don't believe you. Why is that? Well, for one thing, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That child has already decided what they like. You telling them something different is kind of like taking a food that they don't like and saying, here, this tastes good, eat it. I'm not even sure if you can change somebody else's preference. And I'm not saying that I don't think somebody's preference can change. I'm saying I'm not sure you can change somebody else's preference. And that brings me to the next point I want to make. I personally do not like gospel music. Well, that's because you're an atheist. No, that's not it. I like Christian music, but there's a specific genre called gospel, and I don't like it. Now there's two ways you can try to guilt me into liking gospel music. One of them is, oh, this is black music. What, you don't like black music? How come you don't like black music? Or you could say, this music is about the Lord. What, you don't want to sing about the Lord? Why do you want to sing about the Lord? Now you can bitch at me all you want, but you're not going to change my preference. You're just going to make me feel crappy about not liking gospel music. Or for those of you who go to church but rarely, have you ever run into a church member outside of church after you haven't been to church in a while? And they'll start saying things like, haven't seen you at church in a while. Why haven't you been coming? I sure do miss seeing you. That person really isn't making you want to go to church. They're just making you feel crappy about not going to church. Whatever's keeping you from going to church, whether it's because you don't want to go or because you got a job at the same time, until you deal with that, you're not going to be at church. So just because you think I should like gospel music because it's the Lord's music, and just because you think I should go to church because it's the right thing to do, I have to decide that I want to participate in those things. There may be some issues that cause some black women to alter their hair, but that's something they have to deal with. And all this extra talking you're doing about what they should do is pointless. Now, for those of you who say perming your hair is evidence of self-hate, let's just say that it is. Let's just say that we all saw that commercial with the girl flipping her hair when we were little kids, and we tried to flip our hair and it didn't work, and then from that point on, we didn't like our hair. Okay, so we all received this little injury to our psyche or whatever at a very early age. Everybody has injuries and hurts in their hearts that never go away. But it's okay because we're still functional. Let's take, for example, Oprah. She made it pretty clear on her show that she has no intentions in the near future of going natural. So according to these people who keep saying it's self-hate, she's self-hating. But how does this self-hate manifest in her life? Let's see, she's dating a black guy, has been for many years. She raised the money to open a school over in South Africa primarily for black girls. There are some girls of other races in there, but it's mostly for black girls. And she makes sure they all get their hair done. She knows how much of an issue hair has been for young black girls, so she makes sure that they get their hair done. Oh yeah, that sounds real self-hating to me. But forget about all that, let's go a bit simpler. She doesn't commit crimes, and even if she did, good luck tying that back to her hair. She goes to work and pays her taxes, and she makes friends with women of other races. She doesn't go around bashing them. So really, what other evidence do you have that she hates herself other than that she perms her hair? A person of another race who doesn't know all the stuff we do to our hair, would they look at her and say, oh, there's a self-hating black person right there? Let's talk about just your regular everyday black women. They go to school, they get their educations, or they find some type of job. They raise their kids. Now, some black women do commit crimes. They're bad mothers. They don't keep a job. They're on welfare. But good luck tracking that back to the hair. Show me how this so-called self-hate manifests other than perming the hair. Some people have said, oh, they're spending money on their hair when they should be spending it on other things. Okay, that's true, but that's a financial problem. That's evidence of not knowing how to spend your money correctly. Because they won't just misuse their money on hair, they'll also get new outfits, get their nails did, make sure their baby has on a new pair of Nikes. They'll do all that. It's not just the hair. And black guys, I've seen some black guys that have a new pair of tennis shoes every week. Once the tennis shoe gets one little speck of dirt on it, they'll throw it out and get another pair. Or they'll spend it on rims or going to the club or whatever. Spending money on the wrong thing is just a symptom in the black community. You can't just say it's black women spending money on their hair. Also, there is no evidence that black women avoid dating, marrying, and making babies with men who have kinky hair. Yes, there are some black women who do, but overall, the majority of black women do not avoid black men with kinky hair. So you can't even point at that and say that that's a problem. Show me a real-world manifestation of this so-called self-hate. Point out a problem that is directly linked to black women hating their hair. It will be different if the only women who perm their hair were poor women or stupid women or women who are incarcerated, but it goes across all classes, all walks of life of black women. There is no common thread running through all these women other than that they are all black and they all change their hair. You can't say they all seem to be more criminal. You can't say they go around beating up white women. So really, where is this real world manifestation of this so-called self-hate? I don't really think there is one. But if you do find one, make sure it doesn't also occur in black men, because if it does, then we know it's not the hair.